George Kilpatrick Inspiration for the Nation, celebrating people we feel good about. Sharon Sherman is here from the Westcott Street Cultural Fair, October 1st, 2023, this year, rain or shine. And I have said this many times, and I will say it again. The Westcott Street Cultural Fair is one of my favorite fairs in the city. Why? Because it's everybody from all walks of life, all getting together in a good vibe in the Westcott Nation. So Sharon, what is your job with the Westcott Nation, by the way?
Oh my God. So I have a full-time job with the Greater Syracuse Tenants Network, but the volunteer task of being chair of the fair is like a full-time job this week. So I'm doing two jobs. We have a tremendous crew of volunteers. So I'm talking to you about performers. I hardly know them because there's a great group of people who pick the performers every year. There's a person who runs the booth, the person who deals with recycling. There must be like 20 people with different roles, all volunteer. And that's just keeping it all together is challenging.
And you're the chair of it. And so this year, it's the 31st Westcott Street Cultural Fair, October. Right. So tell me,
yes.
this is.
Well, we just try to avoid the Jewish holidays because there's been a lot of Jewish people involved in the fair and also in the neighborhood. So just felt funny this year that both the third and fourth Sunday are religious holidays. So we're the first Sunday in October. And I think 2 or 3 times in the past 31 years, it's been the very beginning of October.
So here we go. So for people, because typically it's September something, but this year
it's usually the fourth. We've been going with our preference is the fourth Sunday.
Yeah.
It was much earlier years ago, but now we are very reliant on Nottingham High School students, 30 of them in the morning, setting up everything. And they've just started school and we have to come talk and get them to volunteer. So we've been tending more towards the fourth Sunday.
And what's nice is that there'll be a parade at noon. When will the parade start and go from, and who's in it and how do you get in that?
Okay, so the parade is something you can still sign up for on our website. And it is led by an honor guard from the Dunbar American Legion post. A little sad sometimes because some of the people are passed on who led that honor guard in the years before. And then it's followed by any elected officials. And to our surprise, last year, the governor showed up. But it was the first time ever, but it was an election year, so I don't know she'll be back. But, we know that Assemblywoman Pam Hunter, who told me for the 20th time that this is her favorite day of the year, will be there at the head of the parade with some other dignitaries. And then anyone who wants to march can sign up, no fee. The thing about the Westcott Funky Parade, I call it, is that there are no vehicles. You have to walk unless you have a carriage and you're a baby and you pushed along. And we'll have belly dancers. We'll have every kind of neighborhood group from the community marching. And it's just a hell of a lot of fun.
Where does the parade line up?
Okay, it lines up at the Westcott Community Center at 11:30. But again, you do have to register on our website. So we put you in the lineup.
And the Westcott Community Center is on the corner of Euclid and Westcott.
And Westcott Street.
People don't know.
Yeah. But if you sign up, you're going to get loads of emails with instructions.
You're still looking for volunteers as well?
We are. And if you volunteer, you get a t-shirt for this year. And once again, Gaetano Valenciana is designing our stuff. And again, on our website, we do need people to man the barricades. We need to close the streets, and more than once there has been a medical emergency and someone has to be there to move the barricade so that the ambulance can come on. So we really could use people. It's a 2.5 hour shift. You can sit in a chair or you can stand, and we welcome groups too. If a family with a teenager wants to do a barricade, that's fine. 10, 12-year-old. It can be a family affair. So please come to our website and sign up. You get to pick what street you'd prefer to be on, what time you want to be doing it. And that's our greatest need this year.
And Pettit will be open again to sell books once again.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, they're not circulating, but they're selling, right?
Right. And very special in the kids' corner, we are having the Syracuse Opera Company has approached us, and they will be doing a children's opera for 30 minutes, pretty much right after the parade. It's based on the children's book, Papa Gallo. I'm not that familiar with it, but I bought one for my grandchild. And that's going to be totally new, and it'll be a 25-minute opera. And the idea they have is they want to get children more interested in opera for the future. So that's very unique this year.
Yeah, and of course you say rain or shine, so it could be pouring, but the entertainment will go on.
Right.
The vendors will be out there. It's what it is. I've been out there in the rain. And so I know that people do party in the rain.
Yeah, well, I will say that last year we had really bad rain, and it rained all day. So, sometimes people with young children will wait, and maybe at 3 o'clock, the sun will shine. So our attendance was only slightly over 8,000, but previous to that and pre-COVID, we were hitting 10,000. And the 2019 we're at 11,000. So it makes a big difference the weather, but 8,000 is nothing to sneeze at,
Yeah, and it could be anything. Sometimes it's hot, sometimes it's cool, sometimes it's cloudy. It could be anything because we're at that time of the year. Now, some of the folks in our audience would be really interested in some of the acts. There's lots of music, there's arts, there's crafts, there's vendors, and there some artists that our audience will be really particularly interested in.
Right. Well, one thing that's kind of interesting is we have a spoken word group called Soul Harmony, and people may have heard of it. It's people of color who do spoken word entertainment. I think they've been at previous Juneteenth and other things, so that's different. Of course, our last act on the main stage is Black Lights. Yeah. And so they've been there. We have a rule: you cannot appear every year. It can be only every other year. So
to appear on the main stage, you mean?
Appear anywhere. Except for something like the Morris Dancers. Right. You know what that is. They come every year. But basically the center stage in front of Dorian's, the Dell stage in front of Rise and Shine, and the acoustical stage in between Taps and the other building. There's so much demand, people want to be on it, that in fairness, we make it every other year. Oh,
okay. But some of the other places, not those main stages, we do see repeated, because I know because Wachiva's there every day. Yeah, because Wachiva's there every year.
Wachiva, until recently, actually had their studio right in the Westcott neighborhood. Right. And Babote from Wachiva is on the Performing Arts Committee, and other people associated with Wachiva are involved in the fair. So at this point, they're kind of like the Morris Dancers. They're part of the fair.
And I know that you have the Houston Wind Duo. I know that's a great group, Mike Houston and Sam Wynn.
Right.
They're so good. They'll be at the acoustic stage. Of course, you've got the Dominique's Dance Creations. They will be at the Harvard Street stage along with Wachiva. And that's right. That's beautiful because you have a lot of good performances and people really it, and it's on the main. I mean, it's a good street because a lot of people are walking through and they can stop and taking advantage of all of that. But I gotta tell you, I love it. And then you also have, I don't know who Mrs. Huxtable is, but she will
I
be
don't
there as
either.
well.
So maybe some of your listeners, it's her first time at the fair,
Mhm.
and I'm not sure who she is either.
Yeah.
I want to say that this fair may be the last as we know it,
Oh.
because there is going to be a new development on the lot and the property where Dorian's is.
Oh, is
There
Dorian's?
is a group, there has been a proposal in the neighborhood for a new structure that will have 19 apartments.
Oh,
It will
really?
have, and the downstairs will be businesses that there no longer will be a parking lot. They will be straight across the street. So all of Westcott Street will have straight businesses, but we are going to have to rejiggle in a way we have never done and have a new place for one of the bigger stages. So construction will be underway by next year. Wow, right?
Right. Like wow. Like wow,
Yeah.
wow,
So
wow.
we're thinking creative things, maybe, behind in that lot where the dance stage and Wacheva are. And also we may have to get to the point of shuttle buses or vans for handicapped. I don't know. It's going to be a big challenge, but the Westcott Fair, it's got to grow and evolve. So it'll be, pretty intense.
Wow, Sharon, that's really something else. Some of the other folks will be there. Mary Nixon, uh, a squad Arch 315, PGR Health and Wellness Dance Club, and Evan Diem will also be a part of it. And these are all and Sink or Swim, another group. And I think they're also first timers at the fair as well.
Right.
And so
Right.
um
Yeah.
but
We got complaints way back when, if you remember when Barbara Humphrey was chair, that all we did was the same old acts. So, which we love, those of us who are older. But we put in that you have to apply to perform, and we make a tremendous effort every year to mix the black lights with people you never saw. And we also, we've had groups that went on to become Sammy winners and, into the stratosphere. But we are having Joe Driscoll back on,
Joe's
not
a Joe's a one-man party.
who grew up in the neighborhood. So
and
yeah,
and we just gave some of the acts that'll be really that this audience will really be interested in. But
right.
you've got performers from all over, like you said. You've got belly dances, you've got acoustic, you've got rock, you got all kinds of stuff.
Children's.
Children's, it's and like I said, I'm obviously being one of the organizing founders of the Juneteenth Festival. That is my favorite. But Westcott is truly one of the festivals I really look forward to because it is to me, the microcosm of what community could look like, right?
Right.
You feel me? Like what it could look
Yeah.
like if we was all just cool with one another, regardless of
Right.
gender, race, ethnicity, sexuality, gender identity. We just all cool together, vibing one another, regardless of all of that. And that's what I love about Westcott Street
Right.
Cultural Fair, because it's all of that.
It used to be called the Westcott Nation.
Right.
And because we had a particular way of a feeling to it. It's a vibe. So, and I remember, George, you were part of the fair at one time. Weren't you an MC for the children's stage?
Yes, I was over at Pettit. Yes, over at Pettit. Yes, I was.
Yes, you
Yes.
were. And
So
when I
yeah,
first started, you were doing it. I think you're working at WCNY then, and
Yes, yes,
and you
yes,
were
yes.
very involved at one point for
I
several
was,
years.
yeah, and I was right in front of Pettit, and it was, I did like a couple of hours, but it was a
Right,
lot of fun uh, because of my love for that festival,
right.
and I like just walking. I brought my sister up one
Mhm.
year, and just like walking through, and checking out the vendors, and it's good. It's really good.
Right.
So let's tell the folks what they need to do, Sharon.
Well, they should visit our website. It's westcottstreetfair.org. And they can also visit our Facebook page or our Twitter page. So, there's lots of ways to get information about the fair. So feel free to reach out to us, participate. Too late to perform, too late to be a booth, not too late to march in the parade, and certainly not too late to show up on October 1st.
Mark your calendars. 11:30 for the
Okay.
parade. Noon to 6. Noon to 7, maybe.
No, noon to 6:30.
Noon to 6:30.
Right.
Westcott Street Cultural Fair, Sunday, October 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 1st, 2023. And Sharon is the chair. Lots of good performances. Some of the performances we highlighted, but that's a small
Right.
piece. There's a whole big thing happening right there. Where's Westcott Street? East side of Syracuse. Westcott Street all the way through. It's
Right.
where it all happens. And
And one other thing, we do have handicap parking.
okay.
Otherwise, you got to scoot around all the streets.
Mm-hmm.
But if you come up Westcott Street from Genesee Street,
Mm-hmm.
you will hit a barricade, and at that point, they will let you go behind the Chinese restaurant and Boom Babies
Okay.
and park your car if you have a handicap. So, please, we want to let people know that it is accessible to
Yeah.
people with disabilities.
And quite frankly, even though many people descend on the neighborhood, I always find parking somewhere. Okay. I do, right? Now, I know it probably isn't legal, but I find it. So October 1st, Sunday, 12 to 6:30, parade at 11:30 at the Westcott Street Center, which is on the corner of Euclid and Westcott Street.
Westcott.
Now, go online and register not only for the parade with your group, organization, show up, show out, but also if you can volunteer, if you got a couple of hours to help with the barricades and things of that nature, please do so. Support one of the great festivals in the city of Syracuse, courtesy of the Westcott Nation and people like Sharon Sherman. All right. Inspiration for the nation. Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you.